before it became sanitized, some of you might have heard, I'm sure some of you knew the Guerrilla Girls in the 60s and 70s, which was the group of women artists that began to do their actions on the steps of, you know, the Met in New York, and MoMA in New York, and Chicago, and San Francisco, in protest that where were the women artists in the museum? They were called Guerrilla Girls. So their actions were called guerrilla actions. What happened, as I mentioned earlier, over time, as things began to get more sanitized and went into the universities and into the academy, it became interventions. You're intervening in something. So this particular piece here, we thought of it as an action, but it became more sanitized. So it's an intervention. And it happens during Fleet Week in San Francisco every October. They have the event called Fleet Week, where the Navy comes into the bay and all of their, some of you might be ex-service people, and all of their military stuff, and pollutes the damn bay. It's a very fragile ecosystem, I'm sure you all know that, really fragile. So what I thought I would do with some friends, a lot of these are collaborative pieces, I'll mention it. This was with a group called the Peace Navy, and me. And a friend of mine, Bob Eichels, was the captain of it. He's eventually passed away a few years back. But so what we decided to do was build this inflatable. And this inflatable is about twice as long as this around here, this museum. Okay? So it's about 85 feet long and 20 feet tall and 15 foot wide. And it's based upon a loaf of French bread. The French were doing nuclear testing in the South Pacific at that time. You know, and that meant all of that nuclear stuff was coming forward and dropping over on top of us. So I thought we'd make a loaf of French bread, paint it like the tricolors, and then put on, make bread, not bombs. Okay? And then tow it around the bay. So you can see here, here's the Zodiac over here. There's a feeder tube going into the back of it. And the Zodiac is Greenpeace. And we got a generator there, you know, powering a fan with blowing to keep it up. So the Navy sent helicopters. They tried to sink it, you know, by creating a wash around it. But it's actually, you know, a balloon just popped right back up. You can't sink the damn thing. This comes right back up. So, and then these things always happen. When we came to the shore, then the Coast Guard was waiting for us. But all this kind of work, because I got older, I knew what to do. So we had lawyers with us, and we had some of the scientists, nuclear scientists for social responsibility. So we had the press conference, and we told them why we were doing it. There's another piece which I'll mention briefly, which was another intervention, but it's simply an audio piece. In 1993, Robert Alton Harris was the first execution in California since 1976. And he was executed at San Quentin, and Rose Bird, who was the Chief Justice, had abolished the death penalty, and the California legislature, in their ignorance, had put it back into place. So it was the first time there was an execution in 16 years. So I thought what I would do, with friends again, the Peace Navy, we'd surround San Quentin with the sound of lions roaring. So I simply made an audio tape, and again, my friend Blaze Smith, who did the harmonica for that piece there. We got a friend of mine was also a roadie for the end. We had speakers on the boat. Now you have to kind of imagine East Gate in San Quentin was packed with international media because it hadn't been done in 16 years. So we decided we'd make a pass. What happens in executions, it starts at 12:01 a.m., 1 minute after midnight. Because if it goes beyond that and the defense gets a stay, it can stay for 24 hours. So the defense got to stay right away, but then the state had it lifted. And so 3 a.m. in the morning, we thought we would make our pass. So we made the pass, and San Quentin at that time, they have a 500-foot bathtub ring, which means you can't get closer than 500 feet. So we made our first pass, and then all of a sudden, because it was packed, there were 6,000 people at East Gate, all of the Klieg lights went right out to the bay, try to find it. And then we heard the helicopters coming, and the spotlight pins in the water. And of course, the Coast Guard came again, took the boat, took us to shore, and arrested. What the charge was a public nuisance, because we had made a big noise. So those pieces like that with audio and pieces like those are interventions. Okay.